Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Bunnies, the show with two real life buddies talking about real life buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill. We're buddies on
And
buddies.
this is Buddies on Buddies. Hey, we almost nailed it that time.
Yeah, that was really close.
Yeah.
So, Kenny, who are we?
Oh, we're doing this again? I thought I just said it. We're real life buddies, so we don't need to go into this shit again every week where we talk about our bios.
Okay, fair enough. I like how you give me shit for yes ending and then you murder me if I even bring up the.
No, I didn't say no. I just was like, are we doing this again? We're real life buddies. We've known each other a long time. I don't know.
We met in film school. Kenny knows a lot more about movies. I just have way better.
You have much better taste. Yeah, okay, we got it.
So why are you?
Why? Because you made me sit here for a half hour. I rushed home from work and I said, if I'm late, I might be late tonight, Lucas, but if I'm late, I'll text you beforehand. But then I got here and I'm waiting. Yeah.
So you, so I get by the way, I don't get texts from Kenny. I get Facebook messages.
Well, is that different than text using Messenger?
I don't know. I rarely use it. I text all the other, cool LA Hollywood people. You're just a little different. And Johnny. Okay.
Don't use Messenger. That's for fucking lame Northwestern people. Use text because that means something.
There you go. You and
yeah.
That's it. You got
it. If anyone's taking notes out there, go.
Yeah. You and my friend Johnny, who's a fan of the show, by the way, are the only people who contact me on Messenger, and even him, it's only because I blocked him on my actual phone. But anyway, that's not the point.
Johnny.
Poor guy. He what's it called? You messaged me saying I got off at work at 9 last night because the sun's going down later.
Why are you late?
Why can't I answer the question? So I see that as
you're like J.R.R. Tolkien describing the tree for 20 minutes. Just say why you're late.
Well, if you're not going to let me talk, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you.
So, phones, messaging. Let's get into it. Let's break it down. I don't care anymore.
I assumed you'd be a little late, and then I was watching Arizona's in the Sweet 16. So I was like, I didn't know you would be that quick because you said you worked till 9 last night, but it is not that interesting. Okay. I'm right. That's all that matters.
You're right that you're late. Yeah, you are right that you're late. You were late.
Look,
that's correct.
I'm a very important person, and you should be thanking me every day that I spend my time to go down to this level with you.
Yes, I'm so happy you're dragged down to my level. I couldn't, what would I do without you?
That's true. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to be, next time you're coming, like, hold on, I'm watching Jumanji 2. I will be there. Give me a half hour.
Jumanji 2 is actually a decent movie. We should do that one. That's buddies.
I'm sure it's right up your alley since you have such great taste.
All right. Well, what did you watch this week? Anything before we get into the Cowboy Way, which is our movie this week?
Should we introduce the Cowboy Way? I watched the Cowboy Way this week from 1994, starring Kiefer Sutherland and Woody Harrelson, directed by Greg Champion. Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah. We're not covering that yet. We're gonna get into that later. I just want to introduce the movie. We're gonna talk about before anyone says I came here for the Cowboy Way. Are you gonna talk about that later? I'm letting people know. Don't ditch out. Don't ditch out yet. We'll get to Cowboy Way.
We're gonna get to Cowboy Way. We promise. We promise. God.
Yeah. We're just working our own shit out first. Cowboy Way is coming. God damn it.
That was the wrong week to have such a divisive movie.
It split the jury at Cannes, the Cowboy Way that year. Yeah.
So what did you watch this week? Anything of note?
Yeah, a couple things. I watched Deep Water, that Ben Affleck movie with Ana de Armas.
Oh, you watched that?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
How was it? That's when they're under the ocean and they're getting chased by monsters, or is this the sexual thriller between a couple who plays mind games with each other?
Well, that's quite the divide there in your head going on, which one's which. But it is kind of a generic title, so yeah, I'll let that one go. No, this is like the Adrian Lin who directed this. He directed like Fatal Attraction and Unfaithful and that Lolita remake and Indecent Proposal. He always makes these like adult relationship erotic thrillers, and he makes one like every 10, 20 years or something. Unfaithful was his last one. This one's for the new generation. it's basically, I think it's like Revenge of the Cuckold. Like Ben Affleck plays a guy whose wife is blatantly cheating on him right in his face, and I don't know if I should go in more to that, but then he goes around killing the guys. So
fun.
Yeah,
interesting. I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was. I think it was somewhat intentionally funny. Mm-hmm. I also don't know if it was intentionally funny, but I was enjoying it a lot. There's some really, it gets really silly, and I noticed it has a really low ranked score on IMDb by user ratings. So I think a lot of people are tuning into this movie and not liking it. But I think it's. I almost want to say I think it's knowingly silly. The
masses, especially the male ego, does not like anything like cuckold and whatever. And then even when he did the last one with Unfaithful, Diane Lane said she was being accosted on the street by people because she had an affair on her perfect husband in a movie. It's a fucking movie.
Right. Well, if you're in a relationship and you're a guy and you have you're jealous, or like the first like 20 minutes, you're like, what the fuck's going on, and all this sort of stuff. But as it progresses, it's kind of like one of those like American Psycho type movies where you start like almost rooting for this crazy dude. And I think it was intentional casting, like all the guys that all her boyfriends, they cast the most punchable face douchey guys. So I think I liked it. I don't think it's like, wow, what a great movie, but I think it's worth checking out for sure. And I also saw Licorice Pizza. I saw.
I saw really Licorice Pizza. Did we talk about Licorice Pizza last time?
I don't think so. No.
I really liked it as well. It's definitely a hangout movie. It's very I don't want to say incestuous, but like from a filmic's point of view, like it has all these film people in it. It's all nepotism and like give someone a break. There's so many actors who could use a break. I don't think AIM needs their big time to shine, but still, I like the movie very much.
I liked it. I thought it was almost a response to Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that came out a few years ago, which we both really liked. And Paul Thomas Anderson, the writer-director, really liked because almost thinking about it was like, okay, it's kind of a love letter to early 70s Hollywood, LA area. This time it's the Valley, not Hollywood. It centers around two characters that interact with these like famous people occasionally, in and out. And it's kind of just a hangout movie. So I almost thought that movie had a lot to do with this, and but I liked it a lot. I'm kind of a little surprised though why it is like up for like all these major awards, and it seems almost, I guess, a little lightweight compared to like Paul Thomas Anderson's other movies like The Master and There Will Be Blood, and even like Magnolia, Boogie Nights. It just seems kind of, I don't know.
It's because the Academy loves that self-masturbatory bullshit. That's why, because it has like it has a Spielberg daughter in it. It has Haim, who are friends with all like the Goldwins and the Spielbergs and everything. This was going to get nominated no matter what, and it's still a very good movie. He hasn't made a bad movie.
It's good. Yeah. I don't know if I see like people that aren't into that kind of shit though, like
No, my parents couldn't get through it. Like it's not. For
anybody. I think a lot of people are just gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?" Just like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, But we'll see.
And they loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but they couldn't get through this movie.
This is even more difficult.
Meandering, still a good movie, good acting, great sense of time and setting. But he's a master of that stuff. So. I haven't really watched anything, week? So, not really. So it's good that you landed on something I could talk about. I've just been busy like drinking hard,
Watching the March Madness. How's the March Madness going?
I haven't been watching. I've just been watching the Arizona games. I've been getting back into Coke, which has been interesting. After our last podcast, I just been Coke like crazy, man.
That just set you off, and now you just now you're on a binge.
Yeah, I moved on to Budweiser. Yeah, I'm going fucking nuts. It's good.
It's your spring fling.
I see you in that blazer talking about Coke, and I'm like, I want to go back to those days.
Oh my god! I had a buddy who's was about 40, a couple of years ago. I remember talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I bought a bunch of like crystal meth," and I was like, "Why?" He lived alone at the time, and he's like, "It's my summer fling," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And he's fine now. He's doing okay, but yeah, I was just like, that's interesting. It's my summer fling. Yeah, it's a bag of meth in my kitchen.
It's a very flippant way to talk about such a fucking dangerous drug that controls your life.
Just in my kitchen and on a plate, he says, just comes out. Oh, hey, Only live once. YOLO.
What's he up to now? He's good. Your Christian
married
friend?
with kid.
Oh, good.
Yeah, married with kid now. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the Cowboy Way.
The Cowboy Way. Yeehaw.
Do you want to do the plot summary? I can do it. I think you did it last time. I don't remember.
It's your turn. Yeah.
Cowboy Way is about two cowboys who both are friends with an older Mexican dude whose daughter is kidnapped and taken to New York. No, his daughter is trafficked into New York to reconnect with her dad, but something goes wrong by a very villainous man, and the old man goes to New York to find them and disappears. So these two cowboys from New Mexico get together and they drive to New York to find the daughter and the old man, who's both their friends. And that's the Cowboy Way.
The Cowboy Way, or as I like to call it, Dylan McDermott's finest hour.
He was good for what he was asked to do.
No, I liked him. I liked him in it. Yeah, I was very
the whole time. The whole time I was like, I waited on him and his wife one time when I first got to LA, and they were very nice.
You did?
No. I realized it was the guy from.
It was Delmont Mulrooney.
No, it wasn't even him. It was, what's the one with the gay guy and the redhead? The sitcom.
Will and Grace.
Yeah, it's the guy from Will and Grace and his wife, and they were lovely people.
Oh,
it wasn't this guy though. I'm sure he's great too. I haven't waited on him though.
Well, cool anecdote and very much pertains to what we're talking about.
Well, when am I going to get one with the movie that he's in? Now's the time.
Yeah. Just gotta shoehorn it in there. I waited on Brendan Gleeson. Well, it wasn't Brendan Gleeson. It was the guy.
It was Alicia Silverstone.
But he was nice. He was nice. Okay, well, yeah, the Cowboy Way. Yeah, I remember this movie when I was like 12. It was like a big Universal release, and kind of big stars at the time. Fairly big stars. Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland, who I both like. Kind of watching, how it goes, like what you were talking about, the initial setup for it, like. Their friend goes to New York and then he's missing for 5 days. And then Kiefer Sutherland rolls up and is like, I got to go after him. He's been gone for 5 days. He went to New York. They're in New Mexico. He went to New York City. This is before internet and cell phones basically were everywhere. 5 days is not a long time for someone to go missing once they went to New York City. You might probably even get there in 5 days from fucking New Mexico.
Especially when you're driving a truck from like the 1960s. Like
yeah, and also his daughter, immigrating from Cuba. You probably immigrate from Miami. You probably immigrate from Miami. Or into Miami, not New York City. That's a very long boat trip to immigrate into. I don't know, but that basically just starts things that don't make sense, and just the lack of verisimilitude in this whole movie.
Yeah, and also the setup is so weakly done. They're adversaries because he didn't show up at a national championship thing, even though they're lifelong friends. That's it. Right. That's the entire conflict. It's fucking stupid and surface level. Well, doesn't add anything. Like if they watched a man drown or something, that'd be something, but that's stupid. And then there's that one scene where he goes to one of them and says, "Hi, we're old friends. I know, I remember you." Then he goes to the other one, "Hi, we're old friends." And then he fucking gets out of the movie like he's dead. Like there's no way he's gonna die.
The Nacho character coming at me with like, don't. I'll leave you with this before I see you later. Always respect your friends and love them. I'll see you later. And I was like, Nacho's dead. Of course. Like that was just, a big bullseye on his back. But I think the main issue, I will say again, I kind of have a guilty pleasure with this movie, like Hollywood Homicide. I did enjoy it for the most part, even though it is goddamn ridiculous and all that stuff. But I said the main problem I think is I don't think the main guys were that likable. I found Woody Harrelson's character actually pretty annoying. What do you think?
Yeah, no,
Pepper, yeah, Pepper, and I like Woody Harrelson. Yeah,
I like Woody Harrelson too. And this was like, you could tell like a big star moment for him. He's billed over Kiefer. He's the sex symbol and everything in this movie. He gets all the best stuff. Kiefer Sutherland doesn't really have a lot to do. It's just a Woody Harrelson movie.
Here says like a stick in the mud, straight man too. His character is just kind of like, damn it, Pepper. Why do I always gotta clean up your mess? Yeah.
Without anything else to do. Literally nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. And then look, it didn't bother me until the dance scene. When he goes to the modeling place and they do this weird fucking dancing where he's gyrating his dick and like oh, look how fucking hot cowboys are and shit. I'm like, that's what I was like, oh, what are you guys doing? Why would you put this in the movie?
Should we say how he got there too? They had the fancy restaurant scene,
yeah,
right? Like 80s and 90s cliches. Well, it was good. It just this is in so many goddamn movies where they fucking good. You know it's two guys freaking out squares at a fancy restaurant. So, you know, that fucking shitty movie Freddy Got Fingered, Tom Green, he even like, you know, spoofs that where he's on top of this, you know, table throwing fish at people and he's yelling, "This is a fancy restaurant! This is a fancy restaurant!" But anyway. Yeah, this like Woody Harrelson's like tonguing this bottle, and the cellist, and you know, all of a sudden this woman who's like the height of, you know, fashion, whatever, in New York walks up and is like, "I want you to be in my show" or something. None of this movie. Any connection between this movie and reality is purely coincidental. Like, there's nothing about this movie that rings true at all.
No. What else do I have? Oh yeah, I do like how it's a movie about cowboys. Oh, by the way, this is the first movie we wrote notes for. We decided, and we didn't even talk about it. Kenny just goes for it. I wrote notes. I did too. So the Cowboy Way is what ushered us into the next level of whatever the fuck this fucking shit is.
Yeah, it wasn't the South Korean movie that we thought we'd take notes for. It was just the Cowboy Way. Just you know, we need to make sure we know what we're talking about here.
So now we're like fucking CNN correspondents. I do like how they cowboy their. It's called the Cowboy Way, and they cowboy their way out of every situation. I respect that creativity. Yeah, there's always some cowboy thing. Yeah, even when he's riding on the back of the truck, he's doing that. You know,
but that's not him getting out of a situation. That's him just doing shtick.
Of course, at the end, no, when they drive through the when they're getting shot at, they're jumping around and cowboying. They get on the horses and they're cowboying. They meet that cop who wants to be a cowboy. They lasso the bad guy in the end. They're cowboying left and right. If you come to this movie expecting to see cowboys, you're gonna get cowboying, man.
You'll get your cowboy fix.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Ernie Hudson character as this horse cop in you know, New York, and they keep running into him constantly. They're just like coming at a bar, like, "Hey, you two, hey, how's it going?" Like they keep running into the same
guy. Like the sheriff of a small town.
Yeah, like very convenient, and he's just totally into them. Like, just take these horses, go. And they're like, "Are you sure you should do this?" He's like, "They know what they're doing. Yeehaw!" Like, what? He met them for half a day when he was.
Yeah, but he admitted, "I always wanted to be a cowboy." Yeah, I'm sure you did. You're a black man who grew up in New York, and you've always wanted to be a cowboy in the range.
Right.
That's believable.
Right.
Yeah.
Very makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Did you stick through the end credits to hear the Bon Jovi song "Good Guys Don't Always Wear White"?
No.
Well, you missed out, because I'm glad you're sitting down, but I thought this was probably the worst song from any of the buddy action comedy movies that we've. It might be Bon Jovi's worst song, which is really saying something, but it was a shame. Don't always wear white. You don't need to write it down, but it's fine.
I'll check it out.
But anyway.
And it's sad because he wrote one of my favorite cowboy songs from Young Guns too.
Blaze of Glory.
Yeah,
Blaze of Glory was so great. They got him back, but Good Guys Don't Always Wear White. Not too good.
I already talked about the fashion show scene, which is such a fucking. They separate Kiefer and Woody for a very extended time in this movie. That slows everything down.
They do, yeah.
It really hurts the movie.
Yeah.
Like, they should be experiencing New York together. Like, hey, let's go our own separate ways. Okay. Normally that's for like 5 minutes at the end of the second act, the downer beat, and then they come back. But they did this for most of the second act. They weren't together. It's really weird.
Well, just their sort of like, you know, tension and all that kind of stuff, I thought was pretty tiresome, you know, and it gets to the end, it's like, you didn't show up, you know, they go over and over. He didn't show up for their big rodeo gig in Las Vegas because he was drunk. He's like, "I wasn't drunk. I was scared we'd win. You'd buy that ranch and I'd lose you." I was like, oh my God.
It was
such a fucking
so forced, not interesting. I hated all that.
Like,
that's all they come up with.
Yeah, but their dynamic was not good. That they just don't like. Kiefer Sutherland just doesn't like him, and he's obnoxious. And
why couldn't they just make them? Why couldn't they just make them brothers who have some family feud about their father's money or inheritance or something, or the actual ranch that's theirs? it would just, it's so much.
That would make more sense. That would make more sense than just making them friends. Yeah, that just had a rodeo championship or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was the main thing with this movie.
I'm sick of. I used to have to read a lot of self-published books for my old job, and I was sick of all the women throwing themselves at Woody Harrelson. As attractive as a man as he is, and he looks great as a cowboy. That's what a lot of self-published authors do. Like, oh, he walked into the thing, and then the bartender wanted to fuck him, and then the chick there wanted to fuck him, and he walked outside, starts flirting with some other random chick. It just reminded me of that so much. Like, whose fantasy are we living out here?
Oh yeah, the rodeo queen passes by. She's like, "Be over your house at 3, whatever." And then he goes up, like, sits in a fancy restaurant. He's like looking at the cellist, just starts like licking a wine, and she's just like, "Oh," like, And then the head of the fashion show comes up to him like, "Oh," it grabs his balls or something. Like, Jesus, like,
whatever. Anyway, that was very weird to me. I like even Bond isn't that attractive to other women. Like,
well. But even James Bond has to do a little talking most times. Well, not back in the Sean Connery days. Maybe he just slapped the girl in the ass, and she was like, "Thank you," and like she got dropped in bed with him. But yeah, what did you think? Now, when we talked last week, the main memorable scene was that weird calf torture sequence with Louise Guzman. Yeah. Well, I'm still. I saw it when I was 12. I was confused. I'm 39. I'm still confused by this scene. What is going on? How would they know that a calf, like, is it gnawing on his balls? Is it blowing him? Like,
no, it wants milk. It's tugging at his dick.
Okay.
I guess that's torturous. In my experience, that's one of my favorite things about being alive.
Well, have they taken some guy out and tested this? And they knew
Cowboys. They're cowboys. It's a cowboy's way. They do it all the time in New Mexico.
This is how Pancho Villa made guys talk, or Cesar Chavez. I don't know, whatever he said. Like, I don't know. I'm still confused about that whole scene. And then,
it was penis torture, I guess. I don't know.
Penis torture, and it was in the trailer too. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, you sent me the trailer, and I was like, that's why I remember that scene so well, because I probably had to watch the trailer at least 20 times when I was a kid, and at that age, I was like, what's that cow doing with that guy's dick? I'm really interested in what's going on. Good or bad?
Well, I'm still confused, but like, it was like, I think it was like the big like gag moment of the movie too. Kind of like that was like the big one that they were just like, what? This is just creepy. And
also how that happen? It's like they went to a cow at the zoo. Like they have a cow at a zoo in New York. Do they? I don't.
And the cop is there too, and helping them out do this. Like, and he's just like, woo!
By the way, Ernie Hudson made so many career-ending decisions just because of two random cowboys who've been in New York for 24 hours.
Oh yeah,
his career's over.
What? Yeah, just give them your horses, cops. They know what they're doing. Yeah.
And then he goes to that place with the horse and holds people at gunpoint or whatever. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing, man? You're fired."
Yeah, he's like, "You're talking to Lash LaRue."
Jesus,
what?
I wish that this movie was more popular, because then I would do a sketch with the chief talking to him after this, like, with like human resources and lawyers, like.
So you knew these guys, you busted these, or you stopped these guys from vagrancy, and then you're let them do anything they wanted after that.
Yeah, I found them sleeping in Central Park, and we just really connected. And I gave them my horses. I did some gun violence with them. I had a calf rip this guy's dick off for answers.
You know me, Mr. By the Book.
And then he goes home and has to explain it to his wife why he lost his job.
I lost my job. Well, I always wanted to be a cowboy. Then I met two cowboys who were sleeping in Central Park. And so you liked Dylan McDermott's performance. I was very amused by it. I think people forget he was a big TV star in the 90s with The Practice and stuff. And I haven't really seen him in anything else that I can really remember. But it was fun kind of seeing him again. And he seemed to be really digging this part. I know he was into it.
It's a great part. He's lucky to get it, because that's a pretty juicy part. I mean, no one knew how bad the movie was going to turn out. So it did bomb at the box office. We'll get that later, I guess.
It bombed pretty bad, yeah.
So why wouldn't you have fun? And he looks, douchey, evil, and they make him so over the top. He's so stupid. Why not?
Yeah.
He's the
why not?
Atypical...
Just but But I don't think he went to hammy. I don't think he hammed it up. I think he played it pretty straight, which is pretty good again.
He you definitely knew he was bad the first time you see him, and you hate him, and he's slimy and scary.
Well, he's like running a sweatshop and torturing sweatshop employees.
I love the torture with the sewing machine. Like that's supposed to be scary, Like I have your finger in the sewing machine. I'm sure it would, but I'm used to Joe Pesci putting a guy's head in a fucking
and a vice. I'll stick this needle right in your arm. No. Can I go? Yeah. Oh, this is not a part of the thing, but I thought we should introduce this segment where we talk about lines from the movie and discuss them, like actual lines from the movie. I wrote some of them down.
I got one for it off the top of my head.
They're mostly Woody Harrelson lines. Your face looks like a hat full of assholes.
Not bad.
That's one. Not bad. Well, kiss a dead duck's red ass. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm from Texas, but I ain't no cowboy. Speaking of which, that's a line from the movie that bothered me. There are no cowboys from Texas. That's because Woody Allen, the prancy little actors from Texas, so it's a little end joke.
Woody Harrelson. You
know what I mean? Woody Allen's from Southern Texas.
Well, Allen's not from Texas. A lot of people make that mistake. God damn, he's rugged.
What part of Texas you from?
You from, boy? The Queens section. Anyway, boy, a guy could get a terminal erection in here. That one I kind of liked. I don't even know what that means either. Well, I know what it means. I guess an
erection that would kill you. Or
hard,
something?
you die.
Yeah.
And then there's you guys, a couple of rope suckers, which he says to the effeminate gay men at the which I thought was not that nice
as
to
far
say,
as
and not very woke. Yeah.
But as far as homophobic slurs go,
I've never heard that those guys look like a couple of rope suckers. I've never heard rope sucker before. But
all the gay men I know, if I were to say that, or if someone were to say that, so a stranger would probably find that amusing. I may be offended later on, but that's a pretty weird thing to say. There's a litany of things you can say, and that rope suckers. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking maybe that like the guys, because they're ropers, so they have ropes on themselves all the time. So say there's a roper in that scene, they're just constantly sucking on the rope.
I don't think that's what he's.
Maybe that's the guy.
Oh, that's where it's stuck. He got kicked in the head by a horse. He likes to. He sucks on all his.
He sucks his own rope. Yeah.
The music was god awful. I never noticed music, but I noticed it a lot. I didn't like
the soundtrack or the score.
I think both of them, but I just wrote that note. Now I don't even remember it. I shouldn't have even read it. My favorite part of the thing was speaking of the antagonist, what's his name again?
Dylan McDermott.
That death is the funniest antagonist death.
Great.
I couldn't believe it. I had Mary rewatch it because I couldn't believe how fucking funny, unceremonious, and fucking brutally violent that death was.
No, I think when we do the awards at the end of the year, like that stakeout guy dying in the logs, that was a good, but like best villain death. I don't want to ruin it for people if you haven't seen it.
No. We can. If you're listening at home, they tie a rope to him like a cattle, or a cow. Yeah. They're doing their rope, and then they connect it to a subway train as it takes off, and he just unceremoniously bounces around dead instantly by the high-speed train pulling his body, and it is.
Well, he gets dragged. It's very clearly a dummy, but then it hits this big bar, makes it doing, and like a goddamn
catches air, and then just keeps going.
Yeah, just like a cartoon. It was fucking great.
It is the funniest thing in the world. You should rent this movie. Yeah. Fast forward to that part. Of course, I think it's on YouTube, but it's hilarious.
Is it? It's a very great Wile E. Coyote death. Yeah.
This movie was hard to find. I had to pirate it. Like they had versions on YouTube, but they were all shady.
Yeah.
I had to pirate it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find it to rent or anything.
Well, the reason I wanted to watch it because I picked it up as a VHS for like one of the $10 for $1 ones I watched, and I was like, oh wow, I haven't seen. no one's talked about this for like 30 years, and I remember like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I still enjoyed it. I like these like big budget, big studio name stars, things that were kind of failures, but also that do offer like a lot of action and all that kind of stuff. But the director, I noticed like this is like a one and done kind of thing for feature films. Like I think he did
more
some
of a
episodes
writer,
like Well, he did episodes like Walker, Texas Ranger and shit after that. And but this was basically his only, big movie he ever did. There is also a, good.
No, you got it.
Well, there is also a reality series called The Cowboy Way.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's like semi-popular. Has nothing to do with this movie, unfortunately. I thought it spawned a spin-off series maybe like 20 years later, but
interestingly enough, the screenwriter of this movie also wrote the teleplay for a certain other Western. You know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
Teleplay, Western, Lonesome Dove.
Oh, Lonesome Dove?
You wrote
the same
Lonesome
writer?
Dove, same writer, yeah.
The writer of The Cowboy Way wrote the teleplay for Lonesome Dove. Wow.
Yeah. So, don't judge an artist by a single movie, because everybody has their misses.
I'm sure that the Lonesome Dove, I don't know how it works on TV, or that was an adaptation, and whatnot. But also, like, this movie, I could see like 20 uncredited writers working on.
Oh, like, yeah, absolutely.
Like at Universal at that time, like this is the same time when like that Flintstones movie came out, and apparently there was 32 writers on that Flintstones movie. So
look,
who knows?
There's no way the guy who wrote the adaptation for Lonesome Dove was like, when they get to New York, I want him to go to a model show, and I want one of the cowboys to be dipping his hips and whipping his dick around, and then he just starts doing a little dance. That'd be a great scene.
He might have. He might have. I mean, he may have. Maybe he's like, I got that fucking I got rid of that studio shit out of my system with Lonesome Dove, and now I'm gonna do what I really want to fuck my passion. This script is all me.
And who knows, maybe he did. I have a feeling Woody Harrelson's agent wrote that scene. I got a couple interesting cameos.
Yeah, okay.
Did you notice the guy that's in a lot of the Farley Brothers movies is in a quick moment? The guy with the bushy eyebrows and the black hair?
Yeah, he plays the exact same fucking role he does in those other movies, where it's like...
I've only seen him in Farley Brothers, so it's weird.
Well, he's like the maitre d' or something, or like the hotel clerk, where he's like, "Can I help you, sir?" Like, it's like, oh, like, am I in a Farley Brothers movie now?
And then the other one I caught, I wonder if you caught it, the chef from Sopranos. The guy who
he was the guy who's like, he was like, they're right here on Lincoln and Third. Yeah. That was fun.
That was pretty cool. Of course, you caught him without. I'm always one step behind you.
Well, and the main gal in it, or like not the main gal, but I guess the daughter who's kidnapped, Nacho's daughter, she is not Hispanic at all. Just dyed her hair black. She's actually, I think she's a blonde Italian gal. She's on Mad Men, but she was Artie Lang's love interest in Beer League, which is one of my kind of go-to guilty pleasure movies. So yeah, I just want to point that out.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
So,
fun fact.
So what would you we already did that. Sorry, what would you rate this?
On a movie scale, again, bad movie, forgotten for good reason. But I like buddy action comedies. I like these old ones. I like the big budget ones that fell on their face. And the last 20 minutes looks like Hollywood Homicide. There's a lot of action and crazy death of the main villain, and a lot to enjoy for me anyway. So I would give it like 3.5, 4 out of 5 buddy action comedy, like a 2 or something for just movies. So
yeah, 2 out of 5 for a movie is right on. Even for a buddy action, there's not enough action. The guys have no chemistry. They really didn't have.
I don't know. There's a good amount of action as far as I thought there was. I mean, there's a whole space where they're just not doing anything, but there was a lot of shootouts. There's a lot of like chase sequences and stuff like that.
Cowboys, did they even pick up a gun in the whole movie? Like, didn't he try to pick up those little guns? And then
there's shootouts.
I don't even see. I don't remember.
Were you paying attention?
Yeah,
is it just on in the background?
No, I pay attention. But I don't even remember them like actually shooting people and stuff. Like, did Woody Harrelson shoot anybody? I basically just remember them getting on horses and riding on the cement and me going, isn't that bad for the horse's feet?
Yeah, they both. Kiefer Sutherland buys back all his guns that Nacho took,
that.
And then they go to like a warehouse, and they have a warehouse shootout and all that stuff. But obviously, it was very affecting because it stuck with you very much.
I was sober. I was watching it, and I still don't fucking remember it.
I think you have this on, and the NBA or not NBA, but the March Madness, on the other screen. You're like,
Kenny, you can make whatever fucking assumptions you want about me. I don't give a fuck. That's on you, man.
Well, don't get your panties in a bunch.
Well, too late.
Josh, they're
much not bad. Even as a buddy movie, I'd probably give it 2.5 because it just wasn't entertaining. It wasn't well made. The chemistry between the two was really lacking. One half of the duo was just completely fucking non-existent for the most part.
Yeah.
Story was stupid. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it even on the buddy action comedy scale, really?
Yeah, 2.5 compared to 2 as a regular movie. You're more lenient with the buddy action scale than me, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because if you ask 48 Hours and Lethal Weapon, those are like 5-star buddy action movies, whereas they're like 3.5, maybe 4 stars actual movies. We have different.
Well, I don't know.
It's
different rating scales, I guess. Yeah, subjective. Well, all right. Well, we both loved Cowboy Way. 5 for 5 for both of us. I'm just gonna veto your rating. Just tell we both gave this movie 10 out of 10. Anyway, what are we doing next week?
I think we should do a bigger movie, and I kind of wanted to talk to you. I thought about texting you beforehand, so we didn't go around, but I figured I would like to do one of the bigger buddy movies. So I'm thinking Tango and Cash, but I know you said that, but I know you've seen that movie a lot more than I have.
I'm always down for Tango and Cash.
I know, but like the back of your head. So I'm kind of thinking maybe it's not that big of one, but
let's do Tango and Cash.
Okay, we'll do Tango and Cash. So next week we'll do Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash. Well, Tango and Cash 2 is, I think that at the time was like the most expensive movie of all time or something. Like it's a big one. I didn't do that well, but yeah, it is like if you want like big budget, big studio pushes, like that's a big one.
We'll do that. We'll do Tango and Cash. That'll be fun. And before we go, what did you learn about yourself watching The Cowboy Way?
I learned that I'm very amused by shitty movies from the past.
You just learned that? You just learned it?
Well, I'm learning by myself all the time. You've done this for 20 years, but I'm just figuring it out now.
I learned that I want a blowjob from a baby cow. So I need to get myself to New York.
Yeah, there's no petting zoos that'll let you do that until you get to New York and find a cop that's cool with all that shit.
Good shit. That's it for now. Thank you to everybody who watches this, and all the Genuine Jerks fans who came over. We appreciate it. There'll be more. If you have any requests for movies, leave it in the comments. Sorry this was such a violent, contentious episode. That's Kenny's fault.
Yes. I've always been bye.
Oh, sorry. You can sign us off. What do you got? What's your last words?
Thanks everybody. We love our fans. We'll do anything for our fans. You guys are so great. The best people in the world. I don't like any of our fans.